from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Come on out, we got business to take care of.
It's Marcus Pitti on that one with Course Bara Seal. Before that, Dumimgok start with Angimbonanga. Keeping it local, great way to usher us into the third and final hour of the CCFM drive. It's gone 17:15, right? Natasha and Romeo with you all the way till 6 p.m. Now, have you ever stopped to think about where your next meal actually comes from and what it takes to get it to your plate? Now, we're putting the spotlight on agriculture today, and we'll be looking at the important role that farmers play in keeping food systems functioning, the challenges farmers face, the journey crops take from field to market, and why strengthening agriculture is essential for food security and economic stability. Now, joining us, as I've mentioned earlier, is the managing director of the original grain company, Mr. Ryan New, and talking, of course, about why farming is critical for South Africa's food security. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ryan.
Thanks, Natasha. Great to be with you this afternoon.
Great to have you. Now, I know that the agriculture industry plays a magnificent role, I think, when it comes to food security, I suppose. And I want to talk about sort of how that industry supports food security and even the rural livelihoods of society.
So I think agriculture forms the backbone of food security in South Africa. It provides the majority of our staples foods, creating rural livelihoods and ensuring resilience against climate change. There's a couple of areas where it's very specific, and the first one is around actual national food security. A lot of people don't realize that large commercial farmers produce 80% of the country's food to ensure availability to the country. And that's a big number when we're facing a situation where 20% of households have food insecurity. We also look at economic growth. Agriculture is a major economic engine for us. Last year we had exports which reached about 13.7 billion. Employment, agricultural sector contributes to 5% of employment. And the last one, which is also very important, is economic stability. Agriculture is one of the few sectors that has shown year-on-year growth over the last 5 years.
Now, we also know that there is power in collaboration and even partnerships. Let's talk about how investment within the agriculture space can help more land become more productive.
I think there's a misconception around the availability of land, and it's something we touch on quite often. Land has been redistributed by the Land Reform Program quite successfully over the last 2 years. Land has been redistributed, or it's been given on 30-year leases. The three pillars for the Land Reform Program were restitution, redistribution, and tenure. Now that's been successfully initiated throughout the country. Where the problem lies is not the availability of land, but three problems they then face once they have access to that land. And that comes to the necessary skills to be able to scale up from a simple cash crop farmer to slightly larger, more commercial farming, the lack of necessary funding, and then the lack of necessary route to market. So what the original grain company does is we identify, using a database which is provided to us by local municipalities, we identify these farmers who have the land, have the potential, but they lack those three elements. And we come in and provide them with the skills, with the funding, and most importantly, we also give them route to market. So there's a number of opportunities for individuals or entities to come on board and assist, even if it's via local government, to be able to help farmers who have access to land, which I said is not the problem, but be able to actually make that land profitable for them.
Now, I want to put this term into practical, sort of in a practical sense. When we talk about food security, what do we mean? What does that look like, especially within South Africa? Yeah,
so to simplify it in practical terms, what it means is can households consistently and daily afford and access enough nutritious food to live a healthy life? It's not about whether the country can produce enough. It's whether we can translate food availability into real food security. And as I mentioned before, food security is a basic human right in terms of Section 27 of the Constitution. And what we do in our field, and where the problem lies, is that we aim to reduce the inequality between the land ownership and the actual agriculture investment, which in turn translates into having food security.
Mr. Ryan, Romeo here. I think earlier on, correct me if I'm wrong, but you did mention that land wasn't an issue. What would you then say are some of the biggest challenges that farmers are facing today?
So the biggest one we currently face is the rising input costs. So seeds, fertilizer, and fuel. Those are three enormous costs in order to plant. And currently, with the uncertainty around the Middle East, there's a lot of concern with regards to the input costs around fuel. Planting season is going to be approaching in a couple of months, and that is a worry. So input costs, which are constantly on the rise year on year, that's one of the biggest challenges. The second one is obviously weather. We actually don't struggle much in the regions where we're busy extensively in the Free State with drought, but more unpredictable rainfall. So the unpredictable rainfall disrupts the planting and harvesting cycles, and it makes it very difficult for farmers to achieve their desired yield. The last one, which we see currently, which is unfortunately a massive problem in South Africa, is with animal disease, currently with foot and mouth. That's also a challenge. And then last one, we also face global competition. Fortunately, in South Africa, a lot of our larger crops, particularly around white maize, are not overly affected by that. We are one of the largest producers of white maize in Africa. In fact, the Southern African region is dependent on what we produce. But yeah, those are input costs, weather, animal disease, and global competition. Those are the sort of challenges that farmers are facing at the moment.
Having the opportunity to chat to Ryan New, Managing Director of the Original Grain Company. A last question I have on my side. If you can please talk to us in terms of the journey from seed to shelf and what many consumers don't realize about food production.
Yeah, I think, Romeo, it's the length of time. I mean, if you look, again, touching on our staple food, which is maize meal, millie meal, when you see it on the shelf, the amount of time or process that has gone into getting it to there, that product starts as much as 12 months prior to it getting on the shelf. It comes down to the correct land choice, the correct soil type, the correct land preparation. Then there's very specific planting techniques, and then it needs to successfully grow to the point that it can be harvested and from there milled and then packaged. So people don't realize in that entire process the length of time it can take to get product to shelf. And as I said, an example of white maize, which is Africa's staple, that can be as long as 12 months.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Before we let you go, any closing comments or words that you'd like to share with our listeners?
I think if I can say, with regards to the challenges we face, particularly around young up-and-coming farmers who may find the task daunting, there's my company and many other companies that are looking to invest and empower and uplift in this particular field. Agriculture, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's one of the sectors that has continued to grow year on year, and it can continue to do so. Words of encouragement are to farmers out there who might want to take a step up from being very much subsistence farming or cash crop farming to go a little bit bigger. There are opportunities and people that are willing to assist you in taking that step.
Now, Ryan, I'm also having a look at your website, the Original Grain Company. So for our listeners, can they find all your resources on your website and further information?
Everything is on there. All the information is on there. They can contact myself or anyone on the team directly from the information that's available on the site.
Fantastic. Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. All the best, sir.
Bless you. Bye.
Yes.
There you have it. That was the Managing Director of the Original Grain Company, Mr. Ryan New, talking about the importance of farming for South Africa's food security. And so, as always, if you want to add in your comment, you can do so on 061 798 1075. Maybe you are in fact a farmer and you've experienced these challenges that Ryan spoke of, and you'd like to share your 2 cents. Again, we're opening up the lines to your voice notes and or messages. That's 061 798 1075. On the way, some traffic with Romeo.
CCFM will host its annual general meeting on Thursday, the 18th of June at 7 p.m.